Hello everyone, welcome back to the Budget Sportsman. Thank you so much for joining me on today's video. Today I'm just out here enjoying the beauty of a snowy January day. We had a fresh snow last night and we getting a little bit of flurries throughout the day. So I just thought I would come out, maybe look for any fresh sign, maybe get an idea of how the deer are using the area this time of year. I'm not hunting at this point, my tags and season are over, but just kind of doing some post-season scouting. And first thing I came across of real interest here is this rub. I've got a 34-inch inseam and big boots on, and that rub is just about up to the top of my belt there. Not quite, but really close. This is, I don't know, pretty tall rub right there, so that's pretty cool. But so far that's it. I'm just gonna go ahead and keep working my way out this hillside. I'm not necessarily trying to sneak up on anything. I'm just looking for fresh sign and just enjoying this beautiful day. This is one of those snows where everything is just stuck on the trees and it is just absolutely gorgeous out here. So I've only probably got maybe 30 minutes of daylight left, 40 minutes of daylight left, but I'm just going to keep hiking out through here and see what I can find before it gets dark on me. So stick with me, let's see what we can find. So I probably only made about another 20 yards from where that big rub was, and I came up here and I just found this area where there's just tracks all over the place. They're not fresh, but there are just tracks everywhere, just all through this area. Now I'm kind of trying to piece together why there are so many tracks right here, and I thought, well, maybe they're even bedding right up here somewhere. The hillside kind of drops off behind me. It's kind of thick right in here, but I don't see any beds yet. I'll just keep working through here, see if I find any beds. But there is some terrain features here. It kind of dips off here and a little bit of a gully in front, so maybe they're using this and they're working around the edge of the gully. I'm not really sure, but I'm just going to keep moving ahead here. But that is a ton of tracks in one area here. Again, not seeing any beds or any other real sign. There's no food source in here, so it almost looks like they're just traveling through here. I'll keep going, see if I can figure out. Oh, I just lied. Hold on. So right there's the first bed I've seen, and that looks fresh, like I may have even kicked something up out of there. We've had a lot of snow today, so the fact that there's no snow in that looks like that could be pretty fresh. And definitely looks like a fresh track where I kicked something up out of there. It's pretty cool. I don't know if you can see this on this GoPro, but there's actually a lot of hair in the bed. Doesn't feel too warm, but definitely think that was something that I probably kicked up. Again, fresh track going up that way. So, well, that kind of answered that question. I was kind of surprised I hadn't seen any beds. Let me keep looking around and see what else I can find. Of course, I just turned the camera off and walked a few more steps. There's another, what looks to be pretty fresh bed. And then here you can see there's just a bit of a dusting of snow, but you can definitely see the leaves. That was another older bed, I'm guessing. But again, you can see white hair there in the in that bed. So yeah, this must definitely be a bedding area. I'm seeing another old bed right over here. That's not a fresh one, but there's, so that's, I think they're probably about the fourth bed I've seen now. So that does kind of explain to me why there's so many tracks right here, if they're coming into bed and maybe they're even getting up and milling around a little bit and laying back down. So definitely gonna mark this spot on the map and maybe scout it again in the spring or summertime. Up ahead here, I'll show you in a second, I'm seeing another pretty big buck rub up here, so I'll head up there and give that a look. Here's this other rub that I was pointing out to you, and I don't know if you can see this, but the top of this rub is only about the middle of my thigh. That other one was 6 or 8 inches taller than that. Pretty interesting. And actually right up here there's another rub right there. There's a couple of rubs, I'm not sure. And again, just boatloads and boatloads of traction through here. So that's in a pretty small area. Just tracks everywhere, several good sized rubs and some bedding. But mostly I'm just enjoying how beautiful it is. I don't know if you guys can see this, but just look at this. Just look at this. It reminds me sometimes when I'm out in the snow of a verse in the Bible that says, "Wash me and I shall be whiter than snow." I've got a lot of things in my life that I'm not proud of, as I'm sure maybe you do as well. But Jesus Christ, when He washes you, He makes you clean. Makes you as pure as the fresh fallen snow. Pretty amazing. Beautiful, beautiful day. Well, right there is just yet another old bed, not a fresh one, but probably from either last night or yesterday maybe even this morning. I'm not sure. We've gotten a good bit of snow today, so I'm guessing that was probably from earlier today even. But one thing that I'm noticing is this area right in here looks really thick all across this kind of elevation line. When we first started hunting this particular piece of property, you could hardly even walk through this area that I'm walking through right now. It used to be so thick with thorns and briars, and it was not pleasant to walk through. It's opened up a lot in these last probably 10 years, but there's still these thick pockets, and it seems like that's what they're using for bedding, is just these small pockets of just thick cover. So I'm going to kind of keep just checking these smaller pockets and see what other sign I can find. Well, I've probably walked, I don't know, maybe 200-300 yards from the last place I gave you an update, and got out of that little thick patch, and sure enough, there was still sign, a lot of old tracks, but the concentration of sign just wasn't what it was back in that thick area. And found a couple of old beds, nothing fresh, but nothing I felt like was worth breaking out the camera for. But I just came across this, which is another almost waist high buck rub right there. So I'm looking around here, and with all the snow, everything looks different, but somewhere pretty close by to where I am right now is where I hunted in rifle season, and I actually shot a deer with a rifle that my grandfather had given me. If you haven't seen that video, I'll leave a link up in the corner, one of these corners. But go check that out. That was somewhere right in this area. But there's some really good buck rubs in this area. Well, I doubt you can see this, but right through that thick stuff, that dark log, is that place that I told you I just where I set up in rifle season. And right here are the first actually fresh looking tracks that I've really seen. Now they're headed that way, which would be toward the food source. And of course, you know, being evening time, not much daylight left, that makes sense. They're gonna be heading up toward the field up there. I've got no desire to try to sneak up on them or anything like that. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna follow them in reverse and see if I can't find a fresh bed and just get an idea of where they may have been bedded and what a super fresh bed looks like. Because these are some of the first really fresh tracks I've seen. Looks like maybe a couple of deer, not sure. One looks a lot smaller than the other. So I'm gonna head down these fresh tracks and see what else I can locate. Well, this video is just kind of gonna be made up of random updates here. But I'm guessing this is a deer that I jumped maybe as I was working out through here. There's some pretty fresh looking tracks there. And then right here, these are the ones that I was following backwards down the hill. There's some coming from there, right there, and then look. Clean snow, clean snow, clean snow, clean snow. And all the way up there is the next set of tracks. That deer must have been making some serious leaps. That's got to be 12, 15 feet. It's pretty incredible what kind of a stride they can take when they're in full sprint mode. Well, y'all, I'm gonna have to wrap this video up here. It's getting just too dark to film, and I gotta head out and get out of the woods before it gets completely dark on me. I've been following these fresh tracks backwards. I've been booking it because they just kept going and going and going. So I've been trying to move fast and try to maybe figure out how far away they're bedding. They were clearly headed up to the field that was way up on the hill, and I was hoping to really kind of pinpoint how far away these deer might actually be bedding, and never did find any beds from those fresh tracks. The interesting thing was I got back here far enough to where there's actually snow in the tracks. So they were starting to look less fresh, which is obviously makes sense. I was moving backwards on the track. But it was kind of an eye-opener for me and a learning experience for me to see how quickly maybe a track could go from looking super fresh and super crisp to definitely less fresh with snow in the track, and just get an idea of what those different kind of tracks look like and try to formulate maybe how long or how old those tracks actually are. So this was a good experience for me, a beautiful day. I enjoyed my time out here, found some good sign that I think will be something I'll come back to in the spring or the summer, and try to put together a summer time pattern on some of these deer. But certainly lets me know some areas that they like to be, at least in the wintertime months. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, a little bit different than what I normally do. I hope you take a chance to get out and do some late season scouting. And until next time, remember to get off YouTube and get outdoors into God's great creation.